Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Wow, it has been forever. This is actually the first video being filmed since we took a little break from YouTube, even though it's not the first one coming out, so this feels weird. At this point, obviously you guys know I am pregnant. I'm actually nearing my third trimester now, which is so embarrassing because I really wanted to film so much pregnancy content in this season of my life, and here we are, and the pregnancy is like nearly over and I've filmed absolutely nothing on here. So anyways, today that is changing. So a little backstory, I dealt with infertility for a year specifically. Before that, I'm not sure what was going on, but once we noticed it, it was a year from the time we got pregnant to the time we actually knew that we were infertile for the time being. Essentially, I had my period every other week and just stopped ovulating for a year. So I know that they track pregnancy the first day of your last period, but October actually started some weird things for me, even though my last period was in November. So I kind of wanted to give you a little backstory on that as well. Essentially, in late October, things were just weird. For those of you that don't know, we spent 3 weeks in Italy in October. So we're actually wondering if maybe being in a different environment and eating better food potentially just triggered things to work. One thing that I'd never experienced before, sorry TMI, there's just gonna be lots of honesty in this video. So if you're a guy, you don't wanna hear about it, just click on out. But two things that I experienced that I'd not really experienced before to this extent was throbbing vagina lips. It was weird. It was almost like it wasn't my whole vagina. It was just like literally my lips. And that was really weird. Like it was like a dull ache, but they were like sensitive to the touch. It was just strange. TMI as well, but I was also extremely horny. And I struggle with chronic UTIs, so my sex drive isn't always the highest because of that. I don't know what was going on, but I definitely had a higher sex drive, and the throbbing lips thing were also new. It was actually funny because that same week in October, I remember I was at church and I had on this overall dress that which has a pocket right here, and I had stuffed like a bunch of pretzels in the pocket and I was eating it. And my mom's like, "Oh, you're hoarding food, maybe you're pregnant." And I was like, that is so stupid. Why would I be pregnant? And yeah, who knows? Maybe that was the start of something. Last thing that happened in October, actually 2 weeks before my last period came, one day I had watery pink blood and then it turned into a brown stringy blood. And when I've had that in the past, that's usually the start of my period, but I didn't actually start my period at all until 2 weeks after that. So that was also kind of peculiar. So November rolls around and Justin kept telling me I smelled like blood, even though I wasn't on my period. I just had this like iron smell to me. And I personally didn't smell it, but I've certainly smelled it on other people and know what it smells like. And I knew what he was talking about, but that was weird. So November 8th through the 13th, I had my period. It's definitely shorter than usual. I usually have a 7 to 8 day period. Nothing too crazy about it, and nothing too crazy happened in November itself besides the iron smell. However, the first week in December, I started having massive cramps. Like, I've never experienced cramps like this before. I would be in the middle of doing something and literally just like freeze and not be able to breathe for like 30 seconds. Like it felt like a contraction, what I would imagine a contraction to feel like. It was horrible. They were so strong and I was like, this is not good. Like what if I was pregnant? What if that's what the whole October, November dealio thing was and now I'm miscarrying? That was terrifying because I'd never experienced cramps like that before. So I just expected my period to be starting right then, but I would always check and my period would never start. So that was also pretty weird. So I noticed my boobs being sore, but it was more so my nipples specifically being very tender. I also noticed that I was a bit turned off by some smells, and then I was also nauseous one night eating tacos, which if you don't know me, tacos are my favorite food. So that was really strange. So December 7th, I wrote down in my calendar, burping all the time. And I do burp. but it's usually only when I drink like carbonated beverages or something like that. So I was burping, like I wasn't having any carbonation. I was just burping up the wall. And then I also noticed I was bloating. So I'm a November baby, so my birthday had recently happened and my best friend got me this little nightgown. I remember looking down at my stomach and my stomach like stuck out of the dress. And I'm a very small, petite person, so I'm not used to being able to see my stomach in a dress stick out. The day before I actually took a pregnancy test, I had washed my hair 2 days previous, and I could usually at that time go about like 3-4 days without washing my hair before it actually like showed. But I noticed on day 2 hair, it already looked like day 4. So it's like my scalp was already producing more oil and everything, and it was very noticeable, and that was very strange. So all in all, my biggest symptoms were cramping, smells, bloating, and burping. But I would definitely say cramping was the biggest one. It lasted probably about 2 months of having really strong cramps multiple times a day, where I would literally just stop what I was doing and just try and breathe. And then of course, December 15 rolls around, which was our 4-year wedding anniversary. And you know, I had been experiencing these things, but I also always think I'm pregnant. So I was trying not to get my hopes up, and I truly didn't think I was pregnant because like I always think I'm pregnant. So it's always negative. And at that point, I didn't even know it was possible for me to be pregnant because to my knowledge, I wasn't ovulating. So I had literally had no idea that it was even remotely possible to get a positive test. And it was just absolutely mind-blowing seeing that on December 15th, which I did take the test on purpose on our wedding anniversary just because I thought it would be so special, just in case I was pregnant, even though I didn't think I was pregnant, to find out then. So basically, my husband and I were renewing our wedding vows. We've been through a lot in 4 years, so we figured it was time to do it, just something for ourselves. And after we got done with the little ceremony part, I had the test in my dress and I pulled it out. So anyways, I hope this helps. And if it didn't, I would find this video interesting, so hopefully you did too. If you aren't yet subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, click that bell for notifications. I'm also most active on our Instagram page, which is Justin_and_Mariah_. I will have it linked down below. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye.